Starting, sir.
Attention everyone. So before starting our today's event, I would like to thank our sponsor PayGlocal. PayGlocal is an app that can be used to transfer money internationally. So thank you each and everyone and PayGlocal for your support. It will going to allow us to make this event a grand success. So a very good morning to everyone and a very thank you to those who are with us since a long time and also to those who are with us like today. And today definitely we're going to learn something new from our experienced developer. And don't worry guys, those who are there will definitely see a video presentation today. So let us call our first speaker, Mr. Geet Purwar. He's going to talk about demonstrating Bannertize.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So, first of all, I must say I'm pretty nervous because this is the first talk of the day and my first talk of the life. And some of you might know me and some of you who don't. My name is Geet and I'm like right now I am presenting you myself as a developer who developed this app called Bannertize. But other than that, I run a company called Marketing and I'm running this company for like 12 years now. And other than that, I love development. And okay, I think that's enough for me. So let's get started with the Bannertize. Okay, first of all, am I audible very clearly to you?
Not very clearly.
Is it now?
Yeah, better.
Okay. I will try to be as much slow as I can because I usually speak a bit fast. All right. So my product is called Bannertize, and what we do, we convert Tailwind CSS code into an API. And some of you who might not know Tailwind, this is like a CSS framework, a utility-based classes who develop, which can develop templates. And the problem that we are addressing in the Bannertize is about the image generation because all of us are in digital marketing, like whatever be the product and whatever be the work, we always advertise ourselves or our product. And advertisement or marketing it does not is not very effective without images. So the image generation is the problem that I'm like trying to solve here. So what is Bannertize? It's a image generator API. We turn your code into an API, and that you can use that API to create images. And these are some of the sample of the images like that we can create this with this API. And not only we can create cards or small images, we can also create a fully furnished email templates, which is not possible in the traditional way. Because traditionally, whoever has worked with the email templates must have worked with the MailChimp and all other email platforms. So the template creation in those platforms is like a pretty, like let's say old school. They always support table and TDs, and they are not very flexible with the modern CSS frameworks that allows us to create, a lot better templates. So as you can see on the screen, these are the templates that are almost not possible with the table and TD, especially the first one. But we can do them pretty easily and in a fast way using that Bannertize API. And not only that, we are also supporting dynamic images. This is a new term that we have coined up with it. In dynamic images, what we do, we get you a URL, and in that URL, you change certain variable or modifications, and in return, it will get you an image. So as you can see the difference in both of these images, like I have highlighted two words. One of them is a slate, and the second one is imminence. So these are basically the themes that we have created for these templates. So if we change the slate, we get the first image, and if we change it to imminence, we get the second theme. That you can see, if you can see the holiday sale, that is pretty much in a different color. So those are the colors that we can assign in every template. I will come to that later. But all right, so let me start by step. So this is how we create a template. We write a Tailwind CSS code. We get an API, and we can send requests to that API to create images. And the template supports all sorts of facilities such as Google Fonts, the complete color palette, stock images, and all kind of email templates. And the images that we got from the Bannertize are in these format, like we get the WebP, which is pretty much optimized, lossless, and in comparison to size. And we got the JPEG, we got PNG, we can generate PDF. We also develop the retina and transparent images, and along with that we are also having the facility to generate multiple images in one request. So, for example, like if you are posting, let's say you are a blogger and you are posting writing a new post, and you are like sharing it over Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. So, what we usually do, like we create different images and we like upload them to different networks. But with Bannertize, all you can do is just send a simple request and it will get you all sort of images in each specific size and specific to that network. So, these are the endpoints that we support, like we can create images using forms, we can create images using REST API, the dynamic images URL, the Airtables. If any of you has the Airtables, it is like a spreadsheet on, let's say, steroids. So, it provides a tons of features where if you are a team and you want to use a specific template, and let's say you want to generate 1000 images, each with own modifications such as names, colors and all. So, all you can do, you can simply link your Airtable with the Bannertize platform and just click on generate image. It will go through all the rows and it will get you a updated template based image in that table. And in the last, like we have also integrated the Zapier. So, those of who are like use the no code platform, the Zapier connects almost every API to everything. So, since we have developed in the we have also integrated Zapier, and Zapier has approved it and they have taken it live till only yesterday. So, we can now use the Bannertize to generate images for all sort of platforms, and we can use any of the APIs to generate images. I know like it is not very clear. So, I will show you a demo and slowly things will get clear. Okay, along with that, we have also created a new feature called set. In set, what you can do, like you can create a new set and you can assign various templates to that set and just send a request to that set endpoint, and we can get multiple images, each from a different template. Okay, so developing the template is pretty easy. You just need to write a CSS code, which is actually a Tailwind code, and it will automatically create dynamic fields out of it, and it will get you an API. So, let me actually show you a demo here. So, first of all, this is my home page. It's not very updated because it was created in the initial days, but this is all sort of images that we can create. So, once you log in into the Bannertize, you will get these cards over here. We have also provided lots of filters over here, like you can filter according to the width, we can filter according to the social media, the portrait orientation. It is up to us, whenever you are creating a card or template, you can assign the custom categories, and it will be listed over here. So, that you can use to filter that cards. Okay. And let me start with one of the cards. So, let me start this one. So, once you load the card, it will get you an overview. It will show you a demo like, okay, what this card looks like, the resolution that we are using, the card UID, the unique ID that we use it to address send in the request. And when you click on the integration, you get all these integrations. So, first of all, if any of you has Tailwind CSS, the version 3 provides a lot of color palettes, and we have also option to add some custom palettes, but this is the palette that we get. So, whatever theme or colors you are using in the template, it will pick that color and it will generate a palette out of it. So, let me select this color. It's a rose variation. Maybe we can change the headline, and it also automatically picks all the images in the card, and based on that it will just link up using the stock images from Unsplash, and you can also do the search, let us say candle. So, let me use this one. We have got this another color for the text. So, once you click on it, it will get you the whole palette, and not only that, you can also use the custom colors. You can just use any of the variations. And right below it, we got certain options like if you want to generate the retina image, it's like a HD double pixel image, the JPEG, PNG, PDF. So let me just use a retina and let me send a request. So what it will do, it will go into the backend and it will just generate an image and it will get us the image. So hopefully if everything is right, it should get us an image. So this is the image that we got. And if as you can see, we use a different theme. If you just get a different theme, it will get a different image. So you can see this color has been changed over here, and it is pretty fast. Usually because we are using lambda in the background, so if we are encountering the cold boot, it will be a bit slower, but other than that it only gets an image, let's say in under 500 milliseconds. So not only it is generating the image, it is also uploading it to the AWS cloud. So everything is happening under 500 milliseconds. So if you are like sharing it to anywhere in the world, it's pretty fast because it is already provided by the CloudFront. So this is the form that one of the endpoints that we can use. The second endpoint that we are having is the REST API. So in this REST API, we are having this endpoint where we have to send the request, and each template is a different one. So it contains different modifications, and the modifications are in terms of the layers. So if we are creating a template, we have the images in the template, we will be having colors, we will be having text. So these are the three most data points that are used in the template. So and we are like whatever be the layers, there could be multiple lines of text. So we are grouping them under one layer. So you can see over here, we are having a layer called theme. So the theme is by default theme of this card is the image sense. And the second layer is the color, and the default color that we have assigned is the white. You can always change it. Let's say for any reason we want to use the color red, and you want and the last you can see we have the layer of text. We can change it, but let's do it for now. Let me click on generate image. So this is a playground kind of feature. You can always use a postman to generate that image. And you can see we got the template, but for some reason we are not getting the red color. I will check it out after this presentation. Okay, so let me come to the next feature. It is called like dynamic image. So this is I think this is the best feature of this service. So let me create a new one. So what this does, you are writing a template in Tailwind CSS, and we are getting a unique URL for that template. And in that template, there could be multiple layers of the modifications that are applicable. So let me select a couple of them. We can select all of them as well, but let me select the headline first. So if you select it, we are getting these kind of image URLs. So let me copy one of it. Actually, let me copy this file. So if we are using this URL anywhere on the web, let me say here, let me modify it first. So you can see we got an image in the reply. So if we are using this same request again, we will get an instant image because it is served by now CloudFront. And we are using these dynamic images to create email template, and I would like to show you this. So let me log in into the MailChimp. That is the most traditional way to create those email templates. So traditionally we are using this kind of code to create an email template, right? We are all, at some point of time you must have wrote this, any of you guys is a front-end developer, he might have created an email template and using the traditional way. So this is a long boring way, but now we can change it. What we can do, we can simply remove all this code and we can use this code here. And let me assign some width. Let's assign some variable. So that's all we need. So you can see the existing code has been replaced and we are getting this as an email template.
It's called dynamic?
It's called dynamic images.
Like we can change in the backend and it will get updated?
Yes, totally. You can change all sort of variables because you can see we are using these variables in the head URL. So right now we have assigned text headline, though this is actually telling it like the very key type is the text and headline is the key, and we are assigning Webkul as the value. So let me select some different fields as well. Okay, let me try to change the theme. So let me select the theme over here. Let me copy the value. And for some reason, let me change the let me change the theme to red, and let's say value to hello world. And you can see in the on the left side, like as we are changing it, it is all like generating new image on the fly. So you can see the new images here, and with all the modification that we have assigned. So this is a small card. It's pretty easy. You can always integrate not only with with the email templates, but you can also write down like fully fledged email templates over here. So let me just show you a quick some templates. So you can see these templates. In these templates, there are lots of variables and lots of values. So imagine this creating in the traditional table TD style. It is not possible to write this kind of template. And if you have to change something, let's say the image, it is all it's the worst possible way. You might forget some slash or something like. But in here, what we can do, we can simply click on like integrations, go to dynamic images. Let me create a new one. Let me select some headline, and let me select one of the images and maybe the theme. Okay, now I will go ahead and copy this value. Let's go to this template again. Okay, let's say we are using the teal theme, and since you guys are like the payment gateway, so let's take an example for that. It's PayGlocal, right?
Yes.
Let me know if I'm spelling it correctly.
PayGlocal.
Okay, is it right?
PayGlocal.
Yeah. So is it one word or like it's a separate? One word. Okay. Okay, let's use Unsplash to find out some payment gateway images. Oh, no, it's okay. Let's pick this one. Let me use this URL, and let's replace this value. It's here, and let's assign some weight to. So you can see we have generated a new template out of it right on the fly, right? And if you have to change anything, you just need to replace those values. So for example, like we can see Mirrored, or there are like multiple themes that we are supporting out of the box. And not only that, you can always use a custom theme too. I will come to that. So you can see, and if you want, and all of these images are like retina, and if you want to generate non-retina, you simply need to remove this. Usually it is very fast, and you can always since you are using MailChimp comes with something called merge tags. So that are like a unique usernames. Let's say you are sending an email to 100 clients, and all of them might have a different company name or something like that. So instead of this value where we are saying like PayGlocal, we can insert those merge tags, and it will itself pick up those merge tags and pick out the value that is generated, and it will be a personalized custom email template that we are sending to the people. Yeah. So, you can see it's very easy in comparison to like what we are writing before. We are like replacing everything with this. And not only this, because it is technically an image, so it is like uniform in all the devices that you can see. And also we are coming up with a new feature like very soon, it is called responsive images. So, depending on the device it is being opened, we will be serving that image. So, a lot of us I think we are on Twitter, right, and a lot of times we are like tweeting, and with the Elon Musk acquiring it, there are a lot of limitations that are coming to it. Very soon we are having the API limitation, he has already declared it. So, if you have to share that tweet in the email, there are very limited ways. So, I have already prepared the demo for it. So, you can see this is the Webkul I think tweet for the Laracon meetup. So, this is the traditional way that Twitter provides us to link that tweet in the email. But right below it, we have provided our own variation. So, what you have to do, let me open that line. So, you can see just I am not sure how much it is clear, but you can see this ID of the tweet. So, all we need is to just place that tweet ID, and it will all itself generate an image out of that tweet, and we can integrate that into the email. So, let me open the Twitter real quick. Let me pick up my one of the tweets. So, all we need is to replace the tweet ID and just save it. So, it will if everything works fine, I am always saying it because it is a new service. So, it will go into the backend and it will generate a tweet out of it. So, I think it looks much better in comparison to like what we were like sharing before. All right, so let us come back to the integration. So, we have already covered up dynamic images. Let us come to the Airtable. So, what we do in Airtable, we have to like first of all we have to provide the credentials. So, let me download a sample out of it when we are like downloading a sample. I think it is downloaded. Okay, here it is. So, in the sample we are generating a CSV that we have to import into the Airtable. So, that CSV itself contains all kind of variables along with their default values. So, we can see in this we are having the images over here, we are having the color headline, color highlight, text, a lot of things. So, if we are simply importing that into the Airtable here, I am not going to show you the full demo because it might take a long time. So, if we are importing that over here, you can see we have already created that table, and in that table we are having multiple fields, and each field contains different text. So, once we link this table over here, it is, we insert all sort of values, we link it up, and all okay, let me just give me just 1 second, let me find out the one that we have already integrated. Okay. So, once you get everything, every credential up and verified, so it will get us an option to generate image. So, what it will do, it will go to this table, it will go through row by row, it will pick up their default values or the modified values, and then it will generate an image. So, after the image is generated, it will update 3 fields, like it is imported, it will get you a checkbox. If it is being processing or it is being like generated, so it will get you a status. And along with that, it will get to the CloudFront URL where we have uploaded image after the generation. So, as you can see, these all images are different in their own individual way. So, this way you can like let us say you can create a table, you can assign it to a team or whoever is the responsible for the marketing. They can simply add up new values and just click on generating the image, and it will generate all of them. So, finally, we are showing up the Zapier. So, in Zapier what we are doing, let me open it first. So, some of you who have already used Zapier, you might be aware like it connects the APIs. So, let me create a Zap. So, as an example, let me connect my Twitter to Bannertize. Okay. Let me select an event for my tweet. So, it has fetched out my recent tweet, and these are all the tweet values, and let me use that tweet to generate an image. So, let me search out for Bannertize. And let me generate an image, and let me link my account. So, all the accounts, whoever has created the account in Bannertize, they will be getting their unique token that we can use it to authenticate our account. So, finally, it will ask us for the card UID that we want to generate. So, since there are a lot of cards over here, let me select this one. So, let me copy this UID. And once we paste the UID, it will fetch all the fields that are associated with this card. So, you can see we are having dark theme or light theme, whatever, and it is not necessary to fill up all the values, because if you are not modifying anything, you can leave it blank, it will pick up the default value. So, let me use a text, and let me use it to modify create the retina version. So, what it will do, it will use our token to verify the account. It will get us to fetch that card, and it will just create an image out of it. So, you can see it has got this image, and we just use the tweet to create that image. And the beautiful thing with this Zapier is you can use it to further connect, automate it. Whenever you are tweeting it, let us say we are creating an image out of it, and let me post it to LinkedIn. So, if you have linked out the linked your LinkedIn account, so let me the tweet data visible to anyone. But for the image URL, we are using that image that is being generated. So, that is all we need. So, for the and then we can test it. So, when you publish that action for so there is an error by the LinkedIn, but you got the idea. Whenever you are tweeting it, it will create an image automatically, and then it will automatically post it over the LinkedIn, Facebook, and multiple social networks. So, that way you can automate the whole process. You can maybe you can use it to track your company update. If you are creating a status image of the company, you are launching a new feature, it will automatically detect it, it will create an image out of it, a very beautiful card for it, and then it will create an image, and you can use it to post automatically to all the networks, or even email the users. So, that is what Zapier do. And this is an upcoming feature, where we can simply change the text directly over here, and you can simply download it. So, you can see that is the image that we just created, and all the images that has been developed into this Bannertize, you will get every logs for all the images, because that is basically based on the credit that we use to generate the images, and it will show you all the request and response whatever we are having. And you will also be getting a dashboard to create your own cards. Maybe these are the cards that are public to all the users, but as a company or as a new person or as a marketing guy, you might have your own set of cards that you don't, that are private to you, and that can only be used by you. Okay. So, let me just show you how easy it is for you to create a card. I am not sure how much clear it will be on the projector, but let me show you anyways. So, when you click use on create or click new card, create new card, you will get a default code that you can modify. So, as you can see over here, let me zoom it up. Is it clearer now? Okay. So, you can see it is a complete Tailwind code. We are assigning it a full width and we are selecting a size out of it. You can always assign a custom size. Let me see 600 by 600 pixel. So, what we are telling it, we have got the canvas of 600 by 600 pixel. Now, we are telling it to assign a full width or height. Whatever there could be numerous ways that you can develop a card. But in here, let me. So, let us say we are you want to use an image in here. So, let me use any image URL. So, let us say we are using this image, okay, and you want to make it dynamic, because right now it is very static. Whenever you are like creating a card, it will always be using this image, but we have to make it dynamic. So, for that what we can do, we can simply use those curly braces and just tell it like we are having an image, and we can assign it any key, let us say the background, and we assign a default value. So, now when you like save it, it will detect those field automatically and it will just create a let me show you. So, you can see we have used that field and it is already detected like there is an image. Now, now it will link up the stock images to it and just use it to generate it. And not only that, it will show you all the generated fields that we have used in this card. So, before proceeding further, may I ask like who all of you like use Tailwind CSS, who are already aware of it? Can you please raise hands? Okay, only a few. So, okay. So, this is pretty much basically wrapped around the Tailwind CSS. And in Tailwind CSS, what we can do, we simply assign the class, and it will all, it has its own default CSS that is assigned to that specific element. Okay. So, let me write a card over here, and just give me 1 second. Let me use a full mode. So, this is pretty much it. Okay. We are using this only this much Tailwind CSS to write this card. So, we have already got our basic card over here that you can see side by side. We are telling it like, okay, we are assigning a width full, height full, and now a background shade of red. Okay. And let me just create a very simple card with only one headline. Let us say hello world. And let me place it to the center. And let me make it white. And let us make it larger. So, you can see this is the easiest way to create the card. So, let me update it. And once you update, since we have not make any field dynamic, it will show us no field, and whenever we are like creating an image out of it, it will get only that basic card that we have created. So, let it generate. So, you can see we are only getting the hello world because that is what we have created over here, but I think this is not much of a useful case, right. So, let us make it dynamic. So, let us make the text dynamic first. and let me make it a field. So, we are telling it like we are making it this text field as dynamic one with the key of title and default value hello world. So, let me update it. So, so it has already detected now that we have got a new field, and if we like modify this value, so we have got the new value now. So, I think let me show you a couple of more variables. So, let me make this color field as dynamic, the background color. And let us assign it the default value of the red. Now, when we save it, it has detected now that we have got some color fields with the background key and the default value of red and the shade of 500. So, when we click on the palette now it will show us the complete palette. Let us use the purple color and maybe some modified value of the field. So, you can see we got a new image with the modified values, and there's let me add one more variable for the image. So, let me assign some width to it. So, I have assigned a width of like 300 pixels and let us say height as well, and let me make it rounded. So, at the moment this field image field is also static, it is getting a fixed image. So, let me modify it and make it dynamic. So, we use again the curly braces, we use the image tag, and let us say this is the main image, and let us assign it a default value. Now, it will detect we have got this image field and it will link up the stock images to it. So, we can use let us say we use these flowers. Let us click on generate and we got some new image. And not only that, it has now given us the whole API out of it. So, you can see these are the colors and this is the endpoint. So, if you are using the Postman or Insomnia or anything to send us this request, let us modify the value, let us send the request, and it has got an updated card. It is not very beautiful, but you get the idea, right? And imagine this, if it is the email template, you got the dynamic image. So, as usual we create on like the dynamic image, we got the URL, we select the field and we simply use it to update our MailChimp code, which is right here. Let me make it smaller so it is visible. So, we got the card, right. So, I think hopefully you must have got the idea like how easy it is for you to create the card and use it in all the places, like whether it is with the no code API called Zapier, you can integrate it without writing any line of code. And since I myself is a developer, so I usually write things which are developer friendly. So, we got this whole API that we can use it. Hang on, where it is. So, we got this whole API, right. So, which in that API you can also modify the values, like if you want a JPEG, we get the JPEG. Let us modify it. So, now along with the WebP version, you are also getting the JPEG version, and this is the complete response that we are getting it. So, we got the JPEG and we got the WebP. Okay, so a couple of cases where this is useful is like whenever you are like for example, PayGlocal is a payment company, and you must have guys use AdWords or the Facebook to create those marketing, right? And in order to create those, and there are like multiple sizes of the advertisement that we have to create. So, for that we have come up with the idea of the sets. So, for example, so this is a card which one of my client uses for its own advertisement on the Google AdWords. So, they have created that card. They have the fixed logo for the XY, and they got all sort of variations. Let me generate an image. So, this is the image that we have got, and give me a second. And I want to show you like how very tiny the image we are generating. So, it is only 8748 bytes. So, that is already pretty optimized. Okay. So, before concluding my talk, let me just show you one final thing. So, this is how we create a set. Let us say you have developed some cards for your own company, let us say multiple cards, and you have the same data set. All of them have the same title, there could be same image, but different sizes. So, let me name it a demo card, demo set, and let me use this cards over here. So, I have selected 3 cards. So, when we are combining those cards, it is getting an updated API which contain all those cards, and if we are sending a request to this endpoint, we are getting multiple images with all the response and outputs. All right, so I think that should be it. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I hope this was my first talk, so hopefully I was able to convey what I have created. All right, so are there any questions? Yes.
What is the charges for using this?
Right now, we have launched it at $5 a month, which is sufficient to generate 50 images. But other than that, we have the limitation on each account for creating the cards. Like for example, in the basic account that is being charged as $5 a month, you can generate 50 images and you can create 5 cards, 5 custom cards and 5 sets. So, those are the limitation, but if you like subscribe to higher plans, you get more credits and more faster response and unlimited cards that you can create. Yes.
So as Laravel developers, are we using the core PHP image function, or do we use a library to convert the image, the HTML or the text to?
Okay. Since you are like familiar with the Laravel, how many of you are familiar with the Aaron Francis? No one. Okay. So, he has created a tiny utility called sidecar. So, using sidecar, we can run node functions using PHP. So, right now we are using the Puppeteer, like Puppeteer creates, captures all the screenshots. We are creating the card in the PHP or HTML. We are generating the HTML output that is being sent as encrypted to some kind of Lambda servers or using AWS, and the Puppeteer is like capturing the output and then it is sending the output to CloudFront, and we are getting the response. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us so much of knowledge about demonstrating Bannertize. So our next speaker is Mr. Avneesh Kumar, who is the senior
को
project
समझ में आ रहा था भाई, मैं बोल तो रहा था.
He'll be going to talk about virtual
Avneesh,
try-on.
हाँ.
I guess
आप Laravel
everybody
में note
faces
कैसे
a
call कर
lot
रहे हैं, क्या
of
नाम बता
issues
रहे
in like today's life
Sidecar.
while doing shopping. So this app will going to definitely brings a huge change in, I guess, in shopping life. So for
तो बाकी समझ में आ रहा था कि
knowing much
नहीं,
about this
कि जल्दी बोल रहा
feature,
था,
we
ये
would
ज़्यादा
like to
बोल रहा
call
था.
ज़्यादा फ्री
Mr.
ट्रायल
ज़्यादा
के
हो.
कुछ डेमोज
for
कुछ
explaining
क्रेडिट्स
how
मिल
this
सकते
feature
हैं?
will
हाँ
going
है
to
ना,
work.
आप साइन अप करोगे तो मिलेगा आपको.
हाँ, मैंने अभी साइन अप
अभी
किया पर
बनाओ
वो
तो
वेरिफिकेशन मेल तो
हाँ. ओह सॉरी.
वाईफाई से कनेक्ट होगा या फिर वाईफाई से? Hello everyone. Is it clear? Okay. So I'm Avneesh. I'm working with Webkul for last 9 years. I'm working right now as a senior project manager. And today I'll be presenting try-on application for web. So let's start it. So what we will be looking today, that what is try-on application for web, and an introduction of Google Media Pipe, and what is affine transformation, and introduction of HTML canvas API, that how the canvas will be used to make an application, and some demo. So what is it? What is virtual try-on? So we have moved to online shopping from the traditional way, that we can do online shopping being at our home at any place. But there is an issue with the online shopping, that we cannot try anything. We have to purchase and we have to check it, and then we have to, if it is not as per our need or fit, then we have to exchange it. So there is a need of virtual try-on for that, and it is very important that we can try everything what we are paying for. And the most important thing, being a developer, that how we are going to implement it on the web. Okay, so these are the requirements to develop the application, which is good, Google Media Pipe, and the basic knowledge of HTML canvas, JavaScript, and the basic understanding of geometry and maths. So what is a Google Media Pipe? Google Media Pipe is a framework introduced by the Google that provides you landmarks using the live stream of media. Landmarks are basically the coordinates of the screen, and it shows you the coordinates by scanning your live feed or media. And Google Media is available almost for every platform, like iOS, Android, and web as well. You don't need any special kind of hardware to use it or to deploy it. The common hardware that our system is using, or the mobile phones are using, we can run the application on that as well. And there are multiple solutions ready by the Google itself that can be used to develop your own application. It is free and open source, and we can rely on it because Google itself uses it on your Google Meet, YouTube, and many more places. So what are the solutions provided by the Google Media Pipe for the web application? That includes face detection. It can detect the face. It detects the face and let you know the coordinates, that where are the faces, and you can make application as per your need. Face mesh. Face mesh scans the complete face, and it will give you 478 points on your face, by using which you can create any kind of application like sunglass try on or makeup try on. Hands are just it scans your hand and it gives you coordinates about the fingertips and the other points on your hand. Selfie segmentation. As you have seen that there is an option in the Google Meet that you can change the background. So that is an example of selfie segmentation, that you can change the background of your live stream. Pose. Pose provides you coordinates for your complete body. So you can make an application that a gym instructor can use to teach you how to perform any pose. So, affine transformation. Affine transformation is a mathematical transformation by performing which we can transform any kind of object on the canvas without changing its coordinate. So like if you are rotating any image on the canvas, then I'll explain this point later in the HTML canvas API where I'll show the example. So HTML canvas API. Canvas API or the HTML canvas is used to display graphics, objects, and you can do multiple things on the HTML canvas. So there are few operations that you can perform on the HTML canvas, like scaling the image or the object, rotating it, and translating it from a coordinate to different coordinate. Okay, so I'll just show you the issue with the canvas API that can be resolved using the affine transformation. लैपटॉप तो हिलेगा ही. ठीक है. Okay, so I hope is it visible to everyone. So there is an image on the canvas, as you can see. Okay. So there are multiple operations that we can perform on the canvas, like scaling, rotating, and translating. Okay, so all right, as you can see the image on the canvas, it is a normal image that I have just shown on the canvas. So if you try to rotate it by 0.5 degree, then it will move to different coordinates, different location. So if you directly like we are creating an application for virtual try on for sunglasses, then we have to move the object as per our face, and we have to rotate it and we have to translate it to many places. So like if you can see, as you are seeing that if I am rotating the image, then it is moving from one point to another point. That is not the case that we want in our application. So along with the rotation we have to translate it so it can stay at its place. So that is what affine transformation is, that we have to perform set of operations to achieve our goals. You can see the same thing while scaling. If I'll scale the image, it will move somewhere else. Then again we have to translate it to put it back. So that is what affine transformation is. We have to perform set of operations to achieve our goals. So next we'll see some demo and the basic implementation of the media pipe, that how we can use the media pipe API in our web application. So what we have to do to implement the media pipe is, first of all we have to include JS provided by the Google, that currently I am using the face mesh JS. So it will show the coordinates, on my face. As you can see, okay, so you can see my face like this, and these are the coordinates, or these are the actually this is the graphics that okay, so these are the coordinates which we are getting by the media pipe. So I'll move the face, then it scans it every frame and it will give you the coordinates as per the movement, and you can create any kind of application using these coordinates. Okay, so what is it doing actually? I have just taken the camera feed and I am putting it and I am providing it to the face mesh API, and it is scanning every frame and providing the coordinates on the or the landmarks of that current frame. So that's why when we are moving, then the coordinates are moving as well. We have total 478 coordinates for the face mesh only, and we can create any kind of application like sunglass try on or the makeup try on or anything like that can be put on the face. Now I would like to show some demos that we have created using the media pipe only. I need a volunteer for this demo. I would like to call Sheena. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, as you can see, this is a demo of kind of makeup things and girly things, you can say. So, would you like to give it? Yeah, you just have to click on the buttons.
I'm looking funny. Wow. Now no one can recognize me. Thank you.
This was way ugly. So I have some more demos for that. It is just a gesture based game. It's a basic game that if you move our hand like I don't know what's happening. I think there is some issue when it is connected to the projector. I'll move to next demo. Yeah, this is a demo of selfie segmentation where you can change the background of a live feed like this. So it is basically used in the Google Meet. So that is all from my side. If you have any query, any question regarding this, please ask.
How easy would it be to add, I guess, new items? Like you showed, right, Bindi, sunglasses and lipstick. How easy or difficult would it be to maybe add jewelry or things like that?
It is actually quite difficult that because you have to manage the object. Google Media Pipe only provides you the coordinates or the landmarks of your complete body or face, whatever the API you are using. But further, using those coordinates, what you are doing is actual your course of action. That if you are making, like I have made this sunglass demo. So for that, there are so many things that I have to take care of. Like it's not an image that we are putting the sunglass on. It's a live feed. The person face is moving from left to right, going up and down. So it's moving everywhere. So I have to move the object as well. So that is all we have to do. Everything has to be managed by the canvas API only. So that is where the logic comes in. So it is quite you have to put efforts on that. There is no built-in or any solution provided by anyone for that.
Thank you.
Can you have 3D objects also?
Yeah, you can use 3D object and
Like earrings and necklace?
yeah, you can use any kind of 3D object to put on. And for that, the famous library for that is 3JS. Using the 3JS library, you can put any 3D object on the face or on the body. Anyone else? So I guess it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Avneesh sir, for such an amazing innovation. Now I would like to call our next speaker, Ms. Nihal, Haneef and Ms. Sheena Kaushik. They are going to talk about fostering global commerce with technology-first approach. As we all know that technology creates a huge impact in today's generation. So it also plays a crucial role in fostering global as it enables a huge vital customer engagement. So let us call our speakers, Mr. Nihal Haneef and Ms. Sheena Kaushik.
So if I'm using this, then I don't need to take the other mic, right? Huh?
It's the receiver. So the voice is completely in English and going.
हाँ साथ में बोलेंगे. Done? Am I good to go? And I don't need the hand. Okay. Start? Okay, and I'll hand. First, we'll introduce ourselves, okay? Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for sparing time for this conversation on a Saturday afternoon. We welcome each one of you and thank you, Webkul and Bagisto, for organizing such a wonderful event. I'm Sheena Kaushik, Head of Sales at PayGlocal. I'm working with PayGlocal for last 1.5 years now. I have worked across organizations in the payments industry, starting from American Express, moved to PayPal, did the India launch, and worked with MasterCard. Okay. Here at PayGlocal, I'm working with merchants in India who are accepting international payments and trying to solve various pain points, and we are going to talk about all of that in detail. Today, I have with me my colleague Nihal Haneef, and I will let him introduce himself.
Thank you so much, Sheena. I'm Nihal Haneef. I'm a senior software engineer at PayGlocal. So I joined PayGlocal before it even kind of started around 2 years ago. So my main experience in development has been with PayGlocal. Before that, I have worked at Visa and stuff, but all my learnings and growth have been with this company, which I'm ever grateful for. So we'll start the presentation with Sheena talking about the business side, and then we'll move to the tech side of PayGlocal.
Thank you, Nihal. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you have heard about us, and we are glad to be here today. PayGlocal is a fintech startup, okay, fostering global commerce with technology-first approach, right? We are well funded We are founded by Prachi Dharini, who is our CEO, Yogesh Lokhande, who is our CTO, and Rohit Sukhija, CPO. They all worked with Visa as an organization more than 10 years of their career, and they found that there are very specific customer related problems, okay, which needs a solution, and with that vision in mind, PayGlocal was founded. We have our investors in the form of Sequoia, BNext, Tiger Global, and we have angel investors Amrish Rao, Jitendra Gupta, Abhishek Pant, and also Kunal Shah of Cred. Okay, so it's been a wonderful journey since the last 2 years. So we all would have come across a particular use case where there is an overseas card member trying to pay at merchant in India, but the experience is either broken or the choices are very limited. Okay, and this is precisely what we at PayGlocal are solving. Right? So when we meet merchants in India today, be it an enterprise category merchant or a small medium-sized merchant today, there are 2-3 pain points which is consistent across. First and foremost, low success rate. I'm sure all of you would have heard or experienced this, right? And here I'm talking about international payments on Indian merchants, right? Then there are, at the heart of cross-border payments, it's risk and fraud management, right? Without handling that, the business cannot run. Then the customer experience at the checkout is broken, okay, is another pain point, right, that we are trying to solve for. So here what we are trying to do, we are working with the industry best merchants in the likes of Policy Bazaar, we are working with First Cry, Big Basket. So every single segment has a different pain point that we are trying to solve. Okay, by providing best-in-class success rate, by providing risk and fraud management. So we ask the merchants to leave the payments part of their journey to us, and we have very specific solutions which help them achieve success rate and also take care of the risk and fraud management, right? We are able to also open unsecured transaction for the merchants because we have a risk engine we can rely on completely, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning based totally. So, you know, there are velocity checks, there is card member persona which we keep defining, and basis that we take decision on each and every transaction, right? We do a lot of work also on how the checkout page should look like, right? Because every single step counts. How is it that we are positioning our checkout strategy is very, very important, because that's where the card member either takes a decision to make a purchase or he leaves the cart unattended. So a lot of thought process go behind. We also provide multiple currencies, right? Even the largest players of the country don't provide more than maybe 15-20 currencies. But here from the beginning, we are providing 120 plus currencies, right? So while we say we foster global commerce, what precisely does it mean in detail? We are creating choices of payments. It's not limited only to cards. Cards definitely is given that we need to solve when we are solving, right? But at the same time, we are also providing alternate payment methods. Like today, UPI for all of us in India is a no-brainer, right? We can leave our cards or a wallet at home and can just, you know, do transactions using our phone, and it gives us peace of mind, right? Similarly, for countries like Europe, it's net banking heavy. They get peace of mind by using net banking as a payment option, right? We provide alternate payment methods generally being used by merchants who are getting traffic from countries like Europe, okay? So you might have heard about Zero Pay, Bankernet, Support Pay, all that is being provided through PayGlocal, right? So that's alternate payment methods. On the card side also, right, we are innovating. We have solutions like link payments. We have solutions like button, which Nihal is going to talk about in detail and show you a quick demo as well, that, you know, it is just a plug and play solution, either low code or a no code kind of solutions, right? We also help, see, in India, when we meet enterprise category merchants, one of the largest issue is that their tech bandwidth or, you know, is totally choked. It's very difficult for them to prioritize integrations, right? And hence our API-based integrations and plug and play approach really helps. And in the best case scenario, we have also seen integrations happening in as good as 2 hours. Because you guys are from developer community, I'm sure that you will be able to relate to this more than anyone else, right? Other than this, we have another product. So here we spoke about mostly about consumer to business kind of a scenario, and then we have a business to business as well. So there is an exporter, there is an importer. Exporter is sitting in India and importer is sitting anywhere across the globe, and they are buying and selling goods. Now, we participate in the funds flow, in the payments journey by providing them virtual accounts, okay? Exporter shares those virtual accounts provided by PayGlocal to the importer. The money is transferred through our OPGSP license. We bring the money to India and then settle the funds in INR, right? So like I said again, just to conclude, that we are creating choices of payment, be it cards, be it alternate payment methods, or be it business to business through virtual accounts, right? So that is what we are precisely primarily trying to do, and working with the largest customers of the country. So be it on the OTA and airline side, we are working with Make My Trip, we are working with the IRCTC, we are working with Go Airways, right? So the focus is to solve very specific pain points for each and every segment, which gives birth to solutions. For Policy Bazaar, we have specifically given birth to a product called Standing Instruction on International. We all would have heard about Standing Instruction on domestic so far, but here the need of the hour was for NRIs to be able to make policy payments on Policy Bazaar, and being able to do that recurring in nature, right? So we are one of the players in the market who provides this product very specific to insurance and few other segments, and now scaling that up, okay? I'll take a pause here and I'll give it to Nihal. He has some demos to show you today, and then we will conclude our conversation.
Hello. Thank you so much, Sheena. I introduce myself. My name is Nihal and I am a senior engineer over at PayGlocal. So firstly, I want to thank Webkul, I want to thank LaravelLive Delhi for providing this opportunity where we can come speak about tech, and that's something that we are really passionate about. Like me personally, I love to code. I build a lot of products. I be it like side project, maybe at PayGlocal and stuff. We build a lot of stuff, and I want to thank you guys as well. Coming on a Saturday morning is not an easy thing. Like just to talk, listen to your peers, discuss ideas, maybe get ideas as well. When you look at these presentations. So a round of applause for all of you guys for spending your Saturday in this particular way. So Sheena showed us a lot of pain points that are there in the business right now, and a lot of products that we are offering to the merchants currently, right? Now, we at PayGlocal, the tech team, relentlessly work hard to ensure that we provide a tech stack that is strong enough to support these products and to support this vision statement that we have, fostering global commerce. Even though it's just a three-worded line, it has a lot of business implications, and that's what I want to show. So let's imagine a use case, right? You are doing a transaction. Imagine your parents are doing a transaction.
Sorry.
That's fine, right?
This is how you do this.
Hello? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so let's imagine a use case where you have maybe your brother sitting in US, right? And he wants to buy a policy for your mom, maybe at 12 a.m. in the morning. And another example where you have your sister sitting in Australia and she wants to buy a sari for your aunt, maybe at 2 a.m. at the night. Or another case where maybe your brother who's studying in VIT ran out of his budget, he can't buy food now, and you want to order him Swiggy sitting in Germany, and you want to use an alternate payment like GiroPay, for example. So all these use cases where you want to do a transaction wherever you are, for whatever you want, whenever you want it, and however you want it, right? Like, how do we do that? At PayGlocal, we promise that we'll make sure that your transaction is successful, because our mantra is that every single transaction counts. So even though this is a simple statement, let's just digest this a bit more. So wherever. So when you're talking about any country, even though I'm just spitting out countries, right, like US, Australia, whatever, each country poses its own problem statement, to be honest. And we have a story where from a country like one of the Middle East countries, we wanted to accept a request, a transaction. And what happened was they just blocked it just because of our domain or whatever, right? And then what we did is we didn't leave the transaction. We sat, looked at the network logs, we talked to the ISPs in those countries, we actually spent a good amount of time and understood that from our side we can do a tweak. We introduced a new domain and we were able to accept transactions from those Middle East countries again. Because our mantra is that, again, every transaction counts. Now, whatever you want, like whether you want like to order fast food or whether you want to order an iPhone for your brother, right? Whatever product segment it is, whether it's an air ticket or food or like clothes, each of them bring their own risk and types of fraudsters, because fraudsters are there everywhere, especially in the payment domain. So when we are catering to different segments, right, we have to ensure that our risk engine is really smart enough and our operations team is really well versed with these segments to set up a risk engine to accept those transactions whenever you want. Whether 2 a.m., 2 p.m., we have to ensure our system is available, right? So what we do is that we ensure the system is available at all times, and in case something does go wrong, we are alerted because of our engine. We are alerted that something is going wrong, and at times we are able to tell our merchants instead of them telling us like, hey, something is going on, but we are on it because every transaction counts for us. However you want it, like Sheena was saying, right? Like you want to use global alt pays, you want to pay using your phone, your laptop, anything and everything is supported by us. So even like during the checkout process, the screen that you see, like each and every pixel that is there, our design team makes good amount of effort to ensure that what you see is what you like, and we ensure and give that promise to the merchant that they will complete a transaction on our payflow page. So this is how we try our best to follow this mantra, because once you start following this mantra, right, technically you can build a really good product, because you have to just make sure every single transaction is just accounted for. So now, because we're a dev team, I just want to talk a bit about the tech stack as well. But before we talk about the tech stack, we first need transactions to come into our place, right? Like imagine, like Saurav is here. Thank you Saurav so much for organizing this event. Like imagine Saurav opens a restaurant, right? He has good tables, he's giving like good food and stuff. And on his opening day, no one comes to the restaurant. And he just opens his door and he realizes there's no pathway to the restaurant, nor did he put this restaurant on Google. So how can he even think about people coming to his restaurant that he invested so much in if he didn't give a pathway to that restaurant? And that's why merchant integrations is really, really important. You have to ensure that your merchants can find your product, can use your product in a quick and swift manner. And I think all of us developers know how integrations work, how important integrations are. And I'll just quickly browse you through. We have API integrations, no-code integrations, plugin integrations. Plugin integrations, you guys know the online e-commerce websites that we have, like Shopify, Magento, PrestaShop, OpenCart. We have integrated with those plugins. So if you have set up a website on those platforms, you can start using PayGlocal instantly. On our API front, we have APIs to provide. We do deep integrations with certain merchants who are PCI DSS compliant and all that, but we do a shallower integration if you want to sit back and let us handle all parts of the transaction. We have that kind of an integration on API front as well. And if you're going even simpler, we have a no-code integration where we are very proud to say that within I think 3 lines of code, you can start accepting international payments. And I'm talking wherever, whatever, however, whenever. With 3 lines of code, you can start doing transactions. So like Sheena said, some of the integrations take 1 hour when you're API and plugin based, but with no code, you can just do it within 3 minutes, which is really, really amazing from a tech perspective, that is, right? So now let's just go to the PayGlocal machine. This is more of a tech thing. So, I think the slide has an issue. Yeah, so I'll just go to the next one. Yeah, so I'll just show the PayGlocal machine. So as developers, what often happens, I think everyone can relate also, you build a product and we know what the product does because we understand code and stuff, right? But when we give it to a non-techie, they just think you give it something, it does the thing and it just gives it out, right? People often don't understand what goes inside this particular machine. And right now I want to open up our machine and show exactly what we are providing people out there, right? Because see, you can write a piece of code, like you can write a normal search function which searches for a letter in a string in O of 1 time or O of n cube time. Both of them do the same problem, they achieve the same solution,
But what do you think merchants would want? Obviously the off-win solution, right? You want to provide a solution that is fast, secure, compliant, intelligent and everything. You want to provide that package as an enterprise application when you're thinking of code at an enterprise level. And that's what at PayGlocal we are trying to provide. So now let's first talk about our first and favorite thing at PayGlocal, security. Security is the heart of the organization. We do not compromise on security. Because think about it, like you guys have heard a lot about data breaches that happen, passwords getting leaked, credit card numbers available on the darknet and all that, right? And that happens when you do compromise on security, sadly. So at PayGlocal, we ensure that we do not, compromise on security. We follow zero trust architecture actually. So whenever a singular transaction is coming to our system, right, we believe that security has to be done in a defense in depth manner. So from the network layer at the perimeter zone, we have rules in place which help filter the transactions out. We are compliant. Compliance certifications are the best way to understand if your security posture is really good. So we are data localized, we are PCI DSS compliant, we are ISO compliant and all that. So you can really trust the fact that our system is secure. Then from a encryption and hashing perspective, like it is often seen that developers are scared about security because when we think about security, we tend to use tools, pen testing tools, this tools and those tools, and we understand those tools are important, but we should also understand exactly on how to do encryption and how to hash. And at PayGlocal, we encrypt what is needed and we hash what's required depending on the problem statement that is currently there. And then like Sheena said, for each of our transactions, we also have a risk engine in place to prevent frauds happening for any particular transaction. Then after that, monitor and debugging. This is something that's very overlooked when you're building an application, and I can give an easy example. Like imagine you're driving a car, right? And you want to go from like Noida to Delhi or something. You can drive the car, it can get you from Noida to Delhi. But what if you can't see the speedometer, odometer or the fuel gauge? Like you will be scared. You will not know whether you're going to reach safely because you don't know what's happening to your car, right? And that's exactly what your machine, your code also wants. It needs someone to monitor it, it needs someone to debug it, it needs someone to, alert when something is going wrong. And at PayGlocal, we do provide that. We have our dashboards which tell us what is going on for a transaction. We have our logs which tell us what is going wrong for a transaction. And in this way, we are able to mitigate the issues that happen, and we are also able to convert the transactions that by learning the data about a particular transaction, right? And then as a result, we are really proud of this. And furthermore, like we have 24-hour support, like someone or the other is on call to receive that alert and to fix problems that are present in the particular system. Then after that, configuration. Again, let's take the car example, right? When you're driving a car, you have your gearbox, you have your headlights, you have your AC and all that. These are configurations that help you drive the car in the best way possible for you and for the car. Imagine you just have the car in first gear always and the headlight is always on. This is the only thing you can do to the car. You can maybe take it up a hill nicely at night. But if you want to go from A to B, from 1 hour, it might take you 4 hours, which is just not right. So at PayGlocal, this machine, even though the code is the same, you can configure it for different kinds of merchants. For Swiggy or for like a merchant like MMT, the same machine can be used, but the configurations might just have to be changed. You can change the type of currencies, the type of cards and everything, just so that the same code can be used for different kinds of scenarios. And furthermore, now imagine if someone else changes the code, right? You need some checks in place, like audit logs and stuff, to understand who has done this particular change. And at PayGlocal, we provide that as well from an auditing perspective. So all in all, like at PayGlocal, we are able to provide this great tech stack that is able to solve the business pain points, give product diversity and all that. And we are able to do that because of the great team that we have. And we have a good amount of fintech expertise and technical expertise, right? So we really want you to connect with us to talk about fintech if you have any doubts, to talk about tech in general if you have any doubts. So please connect with me or Mohit. We have Mohit here also. He's our director of engineering. So we both are willing to take in any kind of questions or anything later on or right now as well. regarding PayGlocal. Thank you so much. I'll do a small demo on payment button.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure. By the time he is bringing up demo, and thanks Nihal for a wonderful insights. That we work with merchants who have made their websites using multiple plugins, like Nihal mentioned, Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, right? And we would want to work closely with the developer community, right? Getting into referral kind of things where you can refer these merchants for their payment needs to us, especially the merchants who are based here and accepting international payments, because they are looking for very specific solutions that PayGlocal can provide them. So that will definitely be one thing that we would want to leave you with. Yes, over to you for the demo.
Yeah, so as you can see, just with like, yeah, one line of code, like you can see total of 4 lines of code, including the HTML and bodies thing. We are able to render a pay now button. So using this button, you can keep it in your web application, like in your website, and you can start accepting, yeah, international payments. So you'll basically, you can see your logo here. This is just a placeholder. You can put your logo there and pay it to Webkul. We just configured it for Webkul. So you can put your, merchant name over there. You can configure it for different types of currencies. So right now, let's do a 100 USD transaction. Let's make it Indian number.
Is it in a live mode right now?
Yeah, it's live mode. This is on a test environment right now. Yeah. Yeah, so this is basically a payflow page where you can enter your card number. So like for example, after I enter like a bit of the card number, right, you can see that it's not clear on this because of the projector, but we also give the bank details, what kind of card it is and stuff depending on the bin of the card. A bin of the card is basically the first 6 or 8 digits of the card number. Using that information, you can technically get the details, it's public information by the way, of the bank, the card type and stuff of your card. So we are basically showing that to you to instill confidence in the customer, right? So right now I'm just using a test card because this is a test environment. Then after that, depending on the country, right? Since it's a US card, we collect the zip code for PSR issues. So like PSR, for getting better PSR. So if it's a domestic card that we entered, then this field wouldn't have come up. So it's very dynamic in nature is what I wanted to say. Then we also provide alternate payment methods like net banking and stuff. But right now we are going for card. And then you can see our compliance certificates powered by PayGlocal, and then we can just go for pay now. I'll just do more thanks. So this is basically like the OTP screen that you see. So this is a test OTP screen that came. So I can just put 1, 2, 3, 4 for now and submit it. And now this is the bank page. Since it's a test environment, you're seeing a blank screen from the bank side, but this is like performing the transaction from their side. So yeah, your transaction is basically successful. So yeah, like just using, that's a power, right? Just using like 2 lines of code and you can actually start accepting international transactions from that scale that I was talking about earlier. And that's what at PayGlocal we want to provide. Exactly. And from a security angle as well, I wanted to mention, like I said, security is at the heart of the organization, right? Most of us are scared to enter our card details when we do transactions. We think about cash on delivery, we'll do that. Because we are scared of that detail getting leaked. But at PayGlocal, we want to create such a security posture that when you see PayGlocal, you'll be like, it's fine, it's PayGlocal, they got me covered. And that's what we are aiming for. And yeah, with 2 lines of code, you can do a transaction as well. So if you guys have any doubts, the stage is open, you guys can ask.
Yeah. Yes, and I would also like to invite my colleagues Mohit and Rahul so that you know them as well. And can insight with them. We are happy to take any questions.
So there are many call centers running in India, and you might have seen in many news that most call centers are doing fraud in international transactions. They are charging customer from the US or UK, mainly old customer, right? Like they put a virus on your Windows laptop and they tell you that it's a you need to purchase it, okay? So how PayGlocal is preventing that fraud transaction, which are so high cases currently in India right now?
Okay, so yeah, thank you so much, sir. So the question is basically how do we prevent fraud transactions, and the use case he gave is like the fraudsters that are there in India, like the scamsters who try to put a virus on your laptop and then try to get money out of you. So at a first layer, we do a lot of risk checks before onboarding a merchant itself. Like the code that I gave you, it's just not readily available. So first, there's a concept of merchant onboarding. Like after the sales teams finds a particular merchant, we have the concept. We have a process where we onboard a merchant. During merchant onboarding, we have risk and approval checks. So we basically check the risk associated with the merchant and if they're actually like a proper merchant, right? And only after that do they get their merchant ID to do a transaction. After that is when this whole engine also kicks in. So we have that defense in the beginning itself. So technically they wouldn't even get a mid to begin with. But even if they do by somehow, our risk engine will also kick in, and even the processors would also understand that there is some fraud associated with the transaction.
Yeah. So I would like to add, apart from that, we do end-to-end encryption at the browser level itself. Even if someone gets a browser control, even someone tries to do the network tab and check the logs, they won't find the clear text card number. So no one can steal the card number if it is being transacted on the PayGlocal page.
Yeah, and sort of just to add on, right? We all know that on dark web today, the details, card details are pretty much available, right? And that is something that we address day in and out. I mentioned about our artificial intelligence and machine learning based risk systems, which is a combination of device fingerprinting, which is a combination of card member persona as well, right? So if there is an email ID which has just been created and being used to do the transaction, it's a red flag. We have a good database, bad database, where all the transaction details are dipped before a decisioning is done, and that decisioning happens on every single transaction, right? So this business certainly, okay, is pretty much prone to fraud and risk, and we are cognizant of that, and hence a payments partner like us comes into picture, where merchants can focus on their core business and they leave the payments part of the business to us. It's our responsibility to provide them best in class success rate and also manage risk and fraud for them. So we have dealt with merchants like First Cry, where we have seen diaper frauds. We have worked with merchants like, we are working with merchants like Big Basket, where we see Kaju frauds, right? And right from streamlining, okay, the fraud patterns at these merchants, from making it a sizable business, is where we come into picture.
And one more thing I would like to add, at PayGlocal, even as an internal user who has the admin access of everything, they cannot see the card number or anything in the clear text. Apart from that, we run like regular job. If any card number is being detected, like till now no card number has been detected, it automatically triggers the alert and we need to act on it actively. So you have seen in the news that some of the websites, the card number got leaked and the customer details are in the dark web now. But even the database get compromised, no one can see the card numbers because everything is in the secure money encrypted.
So for a startup like PayGlocal, who is 2 years old, right, this talks a lot about the thought process which has gone behind creating systems which are strong, okay, and which provides leakage, because can be a making or a breaking point for any business. Okay, you had a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know about the compliance part. Basically, you said that you have like a shallow integration. I'm assuming the other one is where you work with the client to make sure they are also compliant, right?
Yeah.
So, how's the shared responsibility look like there? Does it depend on the kind of data they're storing? Like, if, for example, if they store the card data, they obviously have to be PCI compliant.
According to the RBI compliance, any website which accept the card number needs to be a PCI DSS compliant, and some other compliances needs to be followed. So the deeper integration can only be only offered to the company which is basically taking the card number and has the certifications done, and the responsibility of that lies with that website. Apart from that, when the data is traveling from their website to our servers, it is completely encrypted. If once the data leaves from their server, it is our responsibility, and it's in the safe zone. We make sure that everything is encrypted. That these deeper integrations are provided deep level of integration, authorization, authentication techniques. Yes, on top of HTTPS SSL, we do the message level encryption as well. On top of HTTPS, SSL channel itself do the encryption, but on top of that, the message level encryption also, application level encryption is also done.
Sir, how can I believe? Sir, अभी first time जैसे अभी startup है तो इस चीज़ में कैसे believe कैसे कर सकता हूँ?
क्या?
Believe कैसे कर सकता हूँ मैं आप पे?
अच्छा.
How do you believe?
Trust a startup like us.
Okay.
Is the
Yeah.
question. We are a startup which is founded by people who have worked in payment. Okay, we all also have payments background, right? The testimony of the fact is also our investors who have invested in the brand, right? And at the same time, when we onboard customers, there is a very specific problem for every customer that we have solved. We are not working with small, generally smaller size merchants, but very large size merchants. Like you would agree with me that Policy Bazaar, Big Basket, First Cry are all the brands that each one of you know and heard about. For their international payments, right, they send us 100% traffic. Not because we have gained that trust overnight, but because we have delivered through data and performance, right? For Policy Bazaar, in Saudi, MADA cards, there is something called MADA cards, which is a rupee equivalent in Saudi, which was getting 100% decline before they started working with us, with PayGlocal. But we solved that pain point. We gave them standing instruction, right? We delivered, and only after we delivered, we started getting 100% share of their checkout, right? India. So Indian merchants who are accepting international payments today are looking for solutions. There is dearth of solutions in the market, and many of the merchants, including maybe Webkul today, right, is only dependent on foreign players who are powering those payments for these merchants. We are creating that choice in the country by creating a system, okay, which is delivering best in class service levels and on each and every parameter. So we understand this business, where the pain exists, we understand the solutions, okay, and the demo that we have given today talks about how safe and secure our systems are, right? So trust is a journey, okay. We have first delivered and then only the rest of the customers are working. Country's largest customers are also working. In fact, Asia's largest IRCTC, okay, have already integrated with us. Rahul is working on that account and will be going live in next 15-20 days with us. So that's a testimony of the fact that they were looking for a solution. There was a pain. We are solving. We are totally committed, right? And service is at the heart of what we do. So we have a 24/7 support also available for our customers, right? Because here we are dealing with card members from US, from Europe, and of course, it has to be round-the-clock support. So those are some of the things which are very, very strong as values in the organization, which we vouch for day in and day out.
In fact, to add on to what Sheena said, see, while we agree we are a startup, obviously we have to build that kind of trust. But how do we actually go about it? When this organization was started, we knew what are the pain areas. Okay, so when we are talking to any merchant, obviously no merchant will go out scouting for a new payment gateway just because he needs it. There will be a specific pain area, right? So we had those pain areas listed with us, which we wanted to address and bridge the gap, right? So when we speak to a merchant, we knew that okay, this is the pain area. So we speak to merchants day in and day out. So country's largest OTAs, lot of fashion related merchants, lot of software related merchants. So we know where is the gap. Okay, when we go and talk to the merchant specifically, that listen, we know that this is the gap that you are going through right now, and we can help you out. So obviously that will build confidence in the merchant, because he knows that we have come with a solution. See, you don't go to a doctor simply saying कि मेरे को ये problem है. Till the time doctor says कि अच्छा this problem, you have a headache, this could be because of this thing. He will not say कि आपको gas हो रही है इसलिए आपको headache हो रहा है. right? But if he tells you that bang on you have a problem like this, you will also get some confidence in that, right? So similarly, when we go to the merchant, we tell them that okay, this is the problem and this is the solution that I have with me. So actually, these merchants have started trusting us because of these reasons only. Because we know that okay, you have this problem, we are the doctor for that, and we are able to give you that solution. And nobody in the industry, there are so many respectable players in the industry right now who are offering these kind of solutions, right? But when you go bang on with the solution that okay, this is where I will come in and this is where I will give you the help, that's when people trust us. And that is the reason, this is the testimony that we have players like Policy Bazaar or IRCTC coming on board, or say First Try or Big Bask coming on board. These are big brands. That is the reason they are trusting us with their volumes. We manage 100% of their volumes on our platform.
And just to add what Sheena and Rahul said, that the velocity that customer needs, sometimes the customer needs different kind of solution, but are we able to deliver that solution within the time of their time requirement? Like for the Nihal showed the payment button demo. The requirement came, and within the 2 weeks we launched that product. That shows the commitment toward the merchant. And that product was we were able to launch in 2 weeks because the architecture and the design was supporting that kind of requirement from the beginning. It is just how to navigate in that kind of situation. Apart from that, we are like compliances done from that is done by the RBI impellent certifiers, and we done all these certifications. There are companies which take 6 months to 1 year only to do PCI DSS, but within the few months of the starting of organization, we did all these certifications, and these compliances we took very seriously. It is a work in progress. We continuously look out for that, what else is left, and look out for the opportunities from the product perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Please.
So I have 2 questions. I really like the idea, and as you told, your authentication and testimony, everything is good. So first question is about the RBI guidelines. Previously, like last 2 days, I was sitting with my client, and he was connected with Paytm Gateway. Okay, and as he said that they are not onboarding new merchants now. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
So my client needs very urgent payment gateway because he wants to launch his product. Okay, in this month only because he had some what is that deadlines and all. So can you help in that?
Sure.
To onboard him.
Yeah. Is your customer accepting international payments?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So first and foremost, in a country like India.
Problem is
Yes.
RBI.
Yeah.
So
I'll answer that.
what kind of business are they into?
They are into artisans, like they are making one marketplace for artisans.
Okay, perfect. So first and foremost, right, let me address what you started with. India is a regulated country, right? And certainly there are guidelines. Everyone has to abide by. Okay? We are a technology first company. We are providing the technology, right? Only the licensed players in the country can do the settlement of these funds. Okay? And we have those arrangements in place. We are cognizant of the fact that 2 players onboarding is on board, but looks like that it is more so from a compliance perspective and temporary. To address this for you, we can certainly help your client and would want to partner with you and others as well who have such clients where we can deliver specific solutions, okay, very specific to their needs and very specific to their pain points. So we will share with you our details. Please introduce us, and we will be more than happy to take it forward.
Second question.
Yes.
For my benefit or any other benefit. That's do you have any affiliate program?
As in?
Why should I connect to you? Because do you have any affiliate program?
You mean to say a reseller kind of a referral kind of a program? Absolutely, we have, and I
Because
will
like
speak
the
about.
Pay or Zoho, they
Yes.
are doing the affiliate.
Yes, absolutely. We do have, and we can share more details and get into a deeper discussion with you. In fact, I would encourage, if others also have a use case similar to what he mentioned, we are more than happy to partner.
Perfect, look forward.
Yes, thank you. Okay. I think we would not want to come in between this and the lunch, which must be tricky. If there are
Any other queries? Any other questions?
all right,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nihal, Haneef, Kaushik, and the whole team of PayGlocal for letting us know about the PayGlocal app. So moving ahead, let us call our next speaker, Mr. Abhishek Jain, who is a software specialist at Calra. He's going to talk about power of RabbitMQ. RabbitMQ is an app, is a message broker app or a queuing message. In simple words, if I'll say, it is used to transfer message in a row. So for further details, let us call Mr. Abhishek Jain.
Thanks, Krishna. Hi everyone, how's it going? Saturday afternoon. So thanks everyone for coming, and let me just put this in. I hope everyone can hear me right now. Yes. Okay, thanks. So anyone who knows what RabbitMQ is, or have you just heard about the term RabbitMQ, but not sure how it works, where it is used, why it is used? So let me just start with a very simple introduction, why RabbitMQ is used and why it was introduced. So everyone knows that we have monolithic architecture applications which were built previously. Right now, every industry, every domain is moving on to microservices architecture. That's where RabbitMQ comes into play. And as everyone knows, right, monolithic and microservices architecture is something that we all use right now. So to enhance the power of microservice architecture, we use multiple things. Let me start with what and the why of RabbitMQ. As you can see that microservices can be connected via multiple things. We have HTTP API calls as usual. We have remote control procedures, which are remote procedural calls, and we have message brokers, which is RabbitMQ and Apache Kafka. I think, yeah, it's Kafka. So apart from that, let's move on to why we have RabbitMQ. And RabbitMQ is a message broker, first and foremost. It's used to communicate between two microservices or two services working on different servers, maybe anywhere. So it can be used worldwide. Of course, there is no limit. And why it should be used? It's, oh. Yeah. So it is open source, it's user friendly, it's easy to integrate, easy to use, as well as it has multiple protocols. It's not just AQMP which is used, it has multiple messaging protocols as well. And it is of course highly scalable, as microservice architecture is used because it is highly scalable. RabbitMQ of course helps us in that. So let me show you how it works basically. And yeah, so behind the scenes, this is how it works. Message comes in, and a producer where we are using the service, it basically sends or publishes a message to the message broker. Message broker then decides on where to send the message forward. So most probably in a message broker we have queues, right? So in a queue we have publishers and consumers. So whenever we publish something to the queue, a consumer consumes it. And RabbitMQ basically helps us decide how we can proceed with that message. So we can have multiple things, use cases with that message. For example, if I want to send out a user payment and I want that a user should receive a message when he's received it, as well as the bank should receive it, as well as my server should receive it. So that simple use case can be very well easily translated. Whenever a payment is completed, we can send a message to RabbitMQ, which basically uses an exchange, fan-out exchange, where we can publish that message, and that exchange basically again sends it to 3 different queues and 3 different consumers. Now those consumers can be my consumer, can be a bank's consumer, can be a user's consumer, and all those services now are actually running separately. So whenever I check that, my user has not received it, I directly know which service I want to go to and debug that service, rather than in a monolithic application, I would have to go through everything once and for all. Now, enough about what and why we use it. Let's get to the main point for all the developers, how we can integrate it in Laravel. So in Laravel, setting up RabbitMQ is pretty much easy. Right now, for this particular demo, I have used Cloud AMQP, which is basically a free service provider for RabbitMQ servers. You can go there, log in into your account and create a RabbitMQ server, which provides you with a host, virtual host, username, password, and it provides you with RabbitMQ Manager, which you can open up and check your queues, your exchanges, your messages, publish it and get it as well. So I have already created a demo account here. You can see LaravelLive daily, and it uses AWS as services. It has multiple services as well, like you can decide on which server you want your RabbitMQ to be deployed. So it's a very useful tool. If anyone wants to explore RabbitMQ and check out how you can deploy it, this is a very basic, easy tool to go to. And apart from that, it provides with the host where I can directly connect with my Laravel application, and a user as well as a password, and the port. So by default, RabbitMQ uses 5672 port. I think you should remember that. It's pretty much easy, as HTTP uses 80 and 443. Just like that, RabbitMQ uses 5672 as default. Apart from that, with this, you also get a RabbitMQ management console. So here you can check out, we have overview, connections, channels, exchanges, queues, and admin. Admin is basically to manage out which of the users can use it. Queues are there to check out what queues you have, what are the messages you publish in a queue, and what are the consumer of that queue. Apart from that, you have exchanges as well. You can publish to an exchange and bind that exchange to a queue. So whenever you get a message in the exchange, it automatically sends it to the queue. And we have channels as well. Of course, channels are there to check what channels your queue is connected to. And the connections, if we have some incoming connections or not. So let me dive straight into the code. In Laravel, I use, this is the most popular package of Laravel, which is LaravelQ RabbitMQ. And it's a highly maintained package with 4.26 million downloads. And apart from that, it is highly maintained as well. Like it's updated with the latest current version, Laravel 9. And it has bug fixes as well. So installation is pretty easy. You do a composer require with the package name, and it requires everything. And in the queue configuration, by default, RabbitMQ is not available. So what they've done is they've provided you with all the by default settings, what you need to integrate RabbitMQ server into your application. So with this, you can add on multiple hosts, use the multiple hosts as well using this package. And for example, if I have a different integration or a different platform which I want to integrate to, and they provide me with their RabbitMQ host, I can even connect to that in my application. Apart from that, it has multiple options which you can explore. We have limited time, so I'll just go with the basic options which we have here. And once you are done, you can even have a customized queue, which I'll come back to later. And apart from that, these are all the options that you get in the package itself. Let me go to the code. As I told you before, I hope can everyone see it? It's not much visible, right? Okay, let me increase the font size. I hope you can see it now. Okay, so this is basically the composer JSON, and I have installed LaravelQ RabbitMQ already. And after installing this, I get environment variables which I have to add on, which basically are these. I have to mention what queue connection I am using. By default, Laravel comes with sync, which is the server's internal connection. But you can add RabbitMQ as the default connection, which I'll come to later on, where it is used in the configuration file. And here are all the RabbitMQ host, port, user, password, and virtual host. These are basically the options which I get from RabbitMQ Cloud AMQP console. So here I can get all of these, and I add that into the environment file. Once that is done, I go into the queue. Here everything is there. You see that there is also a default option of queue, which basically says RabbitMQ queue or default. So I have not, as you can see, I have not added any queue here. So I have to go back to the RabbitMQ management console and create a default queue. So to create it, it's not much of an issue. All you need to do is type on the name default and add the queue with the default settings. There are multiple settings like dead letter exchange, routing key, which comes on at a later stage as you progress. So once that is done, all you need to do is add on this RabbitMQ basically configuration, which you can directly get from that package which we are using. And it's pretty much easy. All you have to do is copy the default settings and paste it here. Once you're done with that, that's the basic setup that you need to integrate RabbitMQ in your Laravel setup. That's it. Only 3 files are changes, in which one is automatically added, composer, and apart from that you have to add on the environment as well as the queue. So once you do that, we are ready to work with RabbitMQ in our Laravel application. Now we have I have two different projects set up. One is the producer, which basically produces the message, publishes the message to RabbitMQ, and another application is the consumer. So there are two different applications. Now you can see that if I have two different applications running on two different servers, like in a microservices architecture, it basically now you can see that using these two applications, how I connect between them. Now currently this has a limitation which I will come back to later, but before that the changes that we did in the producer application, those are the same changes that we did in the consumer application. So we have two different applications. In consumer application, I also installed RabbitMQ server. I did the configuration and set it up, and now I'll create a job in both of the applications that I have. So as you can see here, I have a basically simple ping job, which basically what it does, it says that if I have received a ping or not, just to test the connection. That if here I also have a ping job created. So the main thing here to notice is that ping job is basically has the same name in both consumer as well as the producer. That is one thing to maintain in Laravel or Lumen wherever you are using it, that you have to maintain both of these with the same name. Because if I send out a message using ping job, in consumer it will receive in ping job only. So here I have, as you can see, I have not done anything. I have not put in any code or anything. I have just created a ping job. And to execute this ping job, I have created a command which basically all it does is dispatch the ping job. So it does not do anything, it dispatches it. As you dispatch in a queue in Laravel. So let me just type in ping job, and in my consumer. So to run the consumer, I have to execute RabbitMQ consume. So RabbitMQ consume can be by default added to your listener to wherever the application is running, wherever the listener is running, you can execute it and let it be by their default in the background as a background process. So as you see, RabbitMQ consume has been running. I was testing it earlier. Whenever now if I do a ping job here, I should receive that, okay, I have received a ping here or not. So let's give it some time. the ping job has gone out. So as you can see, I already have a message ready here in my default queue, which is basically a ping job, which I got. Let's try consuming it again. Now you see I have the ping received. We have processing for the ping job, and I have echoed ping received here. I hope you all can see it. Now can you see that? So the ping job was sent from the different Laravel application, the producer one, and it was received at different Laravel application altogether. Now let's do, this was basically, I did not manipulate with data, what when data comes in. For that I've created a user created job which runs when a user is created, for example. And here currently I've added a data, right? As a public variable, as you can use to dispatch jobs, you use a data. And I have created another command, user job command, which does nothing but dispatches with a random user from the users table. So it fetches the user table, it converts it into an array, and it sends the user created. Now once that is created, I should receive in the consumer with the data as well. So let me try that again, with this time with the user job. I hope everyone can see that I'm sending a ping with the user job here, and in here I should receive a user created. There I have received a user created with the JSON data of whatever the user was. So I have the ID, the name, the email, whatever data I sent over from that. Now one thing here to notice is RabbitMQ does not process very well with objects, because Laravel object is a very big object, and it would be useless to send that. So what we do, instead of using an object, we convert it into an array which is then sent. And the Laravel, the package that we are using, it automatically converts that into a JSON string and sends it over to RabbitMQ. So in a RabbitMQ, whenever we receive a message, it's basically a string which is a JSON string. And for other application to parse the JSON string easily, that's why we use it.
Can we see the data that we sent in the queue on RabbitMQ?
So in RabbitMQ, we have, if we want to see, we have that, just a minute. We have this option of getting a message whenever a message is published. But whenever it is consumed and acknowledged by the other application, the message is removed from here, you cannot see it. So that's why it's better to log the data which you are publishing into the queue, as well as what you are getting through the queue. And of course, there is also an option to log it from here. What you can do is create another queue and send it over to that, and that processing will just log the data. Will not do anything but just read and log it. Instead of acknowledging it, it will just log it. So now one thing here I would also like to point out, whenever a queue message is read, it is not deleted from the queue. It is deleted when it is acknowledged by the application. So whenever a consumer reads it, it gets the data and acknowledges it to RabbitMQ that I have received the data and now I acknowledge it, then it basically perishes from the queue. And RabbitMQ has multiple, basically multiple features which I am not discussing right now due to time shortage, but it has multiple features. The recent one I used was consistent hash exchange, in where whenever you are sending out a message in a queue, instead of a queue you publish it to the exchange, and exchange decides on which queue it should go. So instead of having to manipulate that in your application, you basically manipulate that here. And there you basically check that my exchange is going through different queues and it has multiple routing keys basically. So you create a hash, as the name suggests, you create a hash, you send it over to another queue using the routing key. That's basically about it. Now you can create create a RabbitMQ server, use RabbitMQ queues, integrate it in your Laravel application, and have multiple things. So that was about it for my current presentation. You can check my name as Jay. My name is Abhishek Jain. For those of you who don't know, I work at Kalera as a software engineer specialist in PHP and Node. And apart from that, any questions, anyone? Related to RabbitMQ or integration with RabbitMQ and Laravel?
I guess what would be the use case for that consistent hashing exchange?
So, okay, that's a very good question. So I recently implemented a consistent hash exchange in RabbitMQ. What I used was Kalera basically has a product in which we send out a WhatsApp SMS on a bulk. And to use a SMS campaign, for example, I want to send a campaign to 1 million customers, and I have 3 different queues depending on the priority. So in consistent hash exchange, I can decide on what priority I want to give while sending out the message to the queue. So whenever I send that, okay, these are the million contacts that you need to read, but in which queue you want to parse it to, because the consumer in each queue has different priorities, you can parse that using the hash, and the hash decides in which queue it should go. So when you are publishing the message, you create a hash based on the routing key. So for example, if I have greater than 1 million messages, my routing key is 1. If I have less than 10,000 messages, my routing key is 2. So whenever I have less than 10,000 messages, it goes on to a different priority server, which basically runs that queues on a constant basis. So when you want to decide, what different queues you want to parse your message based on a particular single key, that is basically the consistent hash exchange.
I've googled this, very interesting.
Yeah, it is a very interesting concept. Jay, that's my social media handle. You can just Google it and you'll reach me anywhere. If there are no more questions, I have a surprise for everyone. Just hold on for a minute. So I need to show a QR code. Can you switch back? So yeah, sure. No, so switch back to that.
Switch back to that?
Yeah.
Okay. But you need to show the QR code first.
Not to the internet.
Okay.
Okay. So what I would like everyone here is to take out their phones and open up the camera and scan this QR code for a quick quiz. Wait. Yep. Now everyone should be able to scan it. Don't worry, it's not a Paytm or Google link, a scam to pay me something. It's just a quiz, a surprise quiz to see how many of you were actually listening to me in RabbitMQ. And I assure everyone, once you go through the quiz, at least you will have basic knowledge of RabbitMQ. So I hope everyone has everyone gone through and entered their name.
It doesn't show question.
Yeah, you just have to enter your name and click on that.
It is supposed to ask question from the speaker.
It is giving me an option to ask you questions.
Don't worry. That'll change in a moment. Just hold on. Okay, now you all should be able to join. Everyone seems busy and quiet. No, everyone has to join. It's basically a quiz. let's wait for everyone to join. Once everyone joins, I'll start the quiz, and it's basically first come first serve. So whoever has the fastest finger first.
And what do we get today?
Let's see. Let's see. I have something. Not a wave. So is there anyone who has not joined yet? Anyone who has not joined yet, they can come here and scan it from a closer view. Oh, I cannot do anything about that internet. I guess we are more than 20. Is anyone else facing any issue with joining? Saurav, are you joining? Aye. So if everyone has joined, we'll begin the quiz. Anyone else who wants to join but is facing any issue?
Speak up, guys.
I guess no. So let's start the quiz. Now you'll see. Oh shit! Wait a second.
Hold on. Okay. For one question, right?
Yeah. So let's see who got the correct answers.
100%.
Oh, that's nice. Let's go on to the next question. I'll have to do that. Or I can just take off the... Yep, that's more like it. Oh, let's see who got the correct answers. Oh, 56% of you were listening to me. Don't clap yet, we have the next questions coming up. You have 10 seconds to read and select. Oh. Those are the same 56% people who were listening to me. Oh, many of you got confused. Oh, सही है. Nice. हाँ, उसमें आंसर्स थे. Not many of you were listening to me. Oh. Many of you, I think, lost a winning streak. Oh, this is new. Now everyone got the right answer. Okay, let's. Now the things are a little bit moving. This should be an easier question. Read the question. What is the latest released version of Laravel? Laravel 10 is yet to release on February 7th, so it has not released yet. Cool. Who's the creator of Laravel? This is easy, guys. Up to you. Oh, this is nice. Many people just read the word Taylor and tapped it. Now you got the correct answers. And let's have the next question. Where Laracon India 2023 is going to be held, guys? I think everyone should know that. Let's see. दिल्ली में Laracon कौन attend कर रहा है? Okay, this is the most easiest question of them all. Oh, this is nice. Everyone got the correct answer. Let's check out the leaderboard. Oh, I was the leader. Suraj Kumar, you got the highest points. Who's Suraj Kumar? Hey, he was listening. Reward. Time for the reward. I have something for Suraj. Instead of GPay, he gets this GitHub diary, which I got basically. So congratulations, Suraj.
Thank you.
Hey, claps. Thanks everyone for joining me. Photo. आप जीते हो भाई? हाँ वही वाली. Light. Okay.
I have something for you.
Oh, thanks, Suraj. Thanks everyone for joining me in the quiz. I hope you learned something about RabbitMQ and it was interesting. And I hope this, enjoys. Thanks guys, bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jain, for letting us know about the power of RabbitMQ and also for an amazing, MCQ. So we'll appreciate our speakers by the token of appreciation. Let us call our first speaker, Mr. Geet Purwar.